I've got you deep in the heart of me, so deep in my heart, you're really a part of me. I've got you under my skin. I like the free, fresh wind in my hair. Life without care. I'm broke, not broke. Hey, California, it's cold and it's down. That's why this lady is a tramp. And I love it. Yes, I'm a tramp, and I love it, and I wish that you were coming my way. Yeah, I wish that you were coming my way. Yeah, I wish that you were coming my way. Yes, I'm a lady, but a tramp. I'm in my warehouse, where these are the gowns, where I keep all my stage gowns, and on that side, some of the private clothes. This is the dress that I wore to sing for President Kennedy. Oh, if I can get it down. That little number. And then after the show, for the party after, I changed into this little number. It looks nothing, but believe me, it was terribly glamorous all those years ago. It had a great big jewel brooch here, and naturally I won't throw it away because of the sentiment. Diamonds are forever. They are all I need to please me. They can steal, they can tease me. They won't leave in the night. I've no fear that they might desert me. Diamonds are forever. Hold one up and then caress it. Touch it, stroke it and undress it. I can see every part. Nothing hides in the heart to hurt me. I actually go to work with a gown in a shopping bag, and it's black, and it's a pair of tights, and one leg is beautifully beaded, and it has a chiffon. It has a body that is, as how do one say? She has black pieces around her bosoms, and embroidered pieces, so that I wear nothing underneath, and it's long sleeves. And then this chiffon skirt that goes round my waist, and this leg comes out, you know. I quite like that. I think I'm a stripper at heart, really. I love to take things off. So hold me close and darling, show me now. Closer, closer now. Kiss me, honey, honey, kiss me. Thrill me, honey, honey, thrill me. Don't care, even if I blow my top, but honey, honey, don't stop. They're just keepsakes now, you know, to remind me of those good old days. Don't care, even if I blow my top, but honey, honey, don't stop. I was
was always a strange kid. I was very different from my sisters, and I was sort of tomboy. A little bit of a loner then, you know. And then, of course, when I started to sing and you know, sort of bedtime, my sisters, Mom, would you tell her to shut up? We're trying to sleep, you know. And this went on, like, you know, even when I was in the school choir, you know, the teacher kept saying, Bassey aloud, could you go back a bit, you know? And I went back to the room and then back a bit more until the end I was out in the corridor and I was singing all by myself, you know. So how I became a singer, I really don't know, because I really had no encouragement. Everybody told me to shut up and, you know.
We seem like passing strangers now.
My brother was the record buyer in our house, and his favorites were Sarah Vaughan and Billy Eckstine. And especially when Sarah and Billy used to do duets together. And we would take them off. I would be Sarah Vaughan and he would be Billy Eckstine, but it turned out that my voice was more like Billy Eckstine. If I told lies, if I made you cry. So we reversed roles. It was fun. And my brother got me really interested in music because I was always singing, you know, without music. But they called it a cappella.
If I told a lie.
I was singing in a workman's club on a Saturday night. I was 15 and a half. And because it was a weekend, the wives were allowed in at weekends, so I was able to go and sing. And there was a man there who'd come down from London to see his family, and he was putting on a show in London. And he came to me after and said, I would like you to come to London and audition for the backers of my show. I'm putting on this show. And it's called Hot from Harlem. And I said, well, you know, you have to speak to my mother, because I thought this was a line, you know, sort of going in one ear and out through the other. This is a line if ever I heard one. And sure enough, he turned up the next day at my house and talked to my mother. And my mother said, but she's never been away from home, you know. And he said, well, she can have a chaperone. So my girlfriend came with me. She was the same age as me, you know. And I remember the song was Jezebel, that Frankie Lane made famous. And here's this 15-and-a-half-year-old singing, Jezebel, ever a devil was born, it was you. And anyway, I passed. And I rushed home to my mother and said, I passed, I'm going to be in a show, I'm going to be in a show. And that was the end of my childhood. I got lost many times. I used to write my mother every day, every other day, you know. Couldn't call, we had no telephone in those days. Sometimes terribly homesick. And in fact, when the first show finished, I went home and said I had enough. I got a job as a waitress. And I was moping around, and my mother said, you go back, you know, you were born to sing. And I said, I don't think so. It's a lonely life, you know. But then I got a telegram from a friend, a choreographer, who was putting on a show in Jersey. And I liked this choreographer. I think, in fact, that's where I got all my movements from, because I used to stand in the wings and watch him. And, oh, God, he was so graceful. Because I used to sing with just standing, you know, and I never moved. So finally, it all started to come into place. And one day I found my hand had moved, you know, but at the right. No, not just moving like a windmill, but moving to make a point of what I was actually singing about at that moment, you know. Just as you are.